takeoff, he'd grunted. Plenty of throttle, but full right rudder. Otherwise this bastard will kill you. At the time, Dieter had assumed he was joking. Again, wrong. A hut beyond the line of parked aircraft served as both a canteen and a briefing room. Dieter made his way through the scatter of empty tents and paused outside the door. A big iron stove had been installed in the first week of January, more than welcome as this coldest of winters at last came to an end. Smoke was curling from the stub of the stovepipe chimney, and Dieter caught the sweetness of the burning wood in the swirling wind. Even now, in late March, the weather was unforgiving. He paused, wiping the rain from his face. The door had never been hung properly, and he could hear the Oberleutnant offering his assessment of yesterday's operational flying. He's started already, Dieter thought. Scheisse. The big room was packed. Pilots occupied every available chair, and others were sitting on the floor. Heads turned as Dieter pushed the door open. One of the younger flyers offered a nod of welcome while Georg rolled his eyes. With his tangle of blonde curls and his crooked smile, little Dieter Merz had become a talisman with this strange outfit, impish, popular with everyone, reliably different. "You're late." The Oberleutnant's name was Gunther Lutzow. His inner circle called him Frankel. Dieter mumbled an excuse, found a perch on a nearby table. The Oberleutnant turned back to the map pinned to the blackboard. Dieter had lived with this swirl of contour lines for months now and was all too familiar with the scarlet crosses that tallied Republican positions in the mountains to the north. The towns of Elorio and Durango still held by Basque militiamen. Thin zigzag trenches in the harshness of the landscape, not easily bombed. Beyond the towering peaks lay a broadening estuary. Then came the sea. The Oberleutnant was complaining again about the sloth of the nationalist army, the timidity of Franco's generals up here in the Basque country, how nothing ever seemed to happen after the Condor Legion had done its work. "Even our Generalmajor can't make a difference. He talks to Franco, Franco talks to his people up here, they promise an attack, then another attack." Lutzow made a gesture of contempt, half turned towards the map. Nichts. Nothing. There was a ripple of laughter. The Generalmajor was a tough, bear-like ex-fighter pilot who'd led the Condor Legion into Spain. As the face of the Third Reich, among this bunch of Carlist fanatics, Hugo Sperl was evidently running out of patience, only now, it seemed, had his representations found a listening ear. Lutzow permitted himself the ghost of a smile. He had news to impart. "General Moeller assures us that he'll be opening his offensive tomorrow morning," he said. "Our lads from Burgos will be bombing in relays. The objective is to fill the streets with rubble and bottle up the garrison troops before Moeller's lot go in. Our job is to clean up afterwards. The problem with the 109 engines is unresolved. Therefore, we'll stick to the Heinkels. Our allotted target? Durango." Heads nodded round the room. Most of these men had spent the last few months flying the Heinkel 51s, the latest of the Luftwaffe's biplanes. Robust enough in the air, but a bitch to land. The two machine guns had to be loaded manually while still flying the plane, a chore that skinned the knuckles of even the best pilots. Worse still, the bomb load was pathetic. Just 6 10-kilo cylinders of high explosive, a mere calling card compared to the ordnance delivered by the big Ju-52s from Burgos. Georg wanted to know what clean-up meant. He'd been a mathematician at university, and his insistence on precision when it came to orders, as well as everything else in his life, was fast becoming a squadron joke. Lutzow told him to hunt for targets of opportunity. Anyone in uniform with a white tunic on his back belonged to General Muller's army. Don't shoot him. Anyone else in uniform? Go for the kill. And civilians? We're there to make an impact. With respect, sir, what does that mean? It means that our job is to break these people's morale. First they get bombed, then we strafe. Moeller wants his men in Durango by dusk. If you're asking me whether that makes military sense, I have to say yes. Our job is to leave Moeller with no excuses.